All right, now let's go ahead and start building the agent flow. So I'm going to start with a manual trigger, and then I'm going to start with settings. So I want to be able to customize the company and various aspects of the flow. So I'll just go and create an edit field in here. So in this edit field, I'm going to start adding some value. So I want to specify the company. All right, so in this case, I'll just set it as NVIDIA. I want to be able to also customize uh, the number of sections I want in the report. So I'll have this as a number. I have sections here. And then I also want to customize the number of words. All right, so let's go ahead and change the name of this to settings. I'm going to add one more field in here, and this is the webhook. So this is the webhook URL that I mentioned in the previous video that allows me to call into the URL to access the SEC 10K data using the Q&A flow. So I'll set that here and save it. Now I'm going to the next node I'm going to build is the senior researcher node. I'll go here, and then I'm going to add a OpenAI node, and this is a message node. I'm going to use this to model the senior researcher. So let's open this up a little bit more. Open this up here. And I'm going to walk through this prompt. So I'll cut and paste this prompt and just walk through this. So what I'm going to do first is I'm going to say the persona. So this is senior research analyst, and the backstory is that they work in Goldman Sachs, and they're focusing on fundamental research for tech companies. And they have a team of research analysts that will help them with various aspects of the stock research. All right, so this is the persona we have given the our AI. And then here's the task next. So I'm going to write the title, write the subtitle, write the section details, the introduction, and the conclusion. So that's the purpose of this report here. We've also added a little bit extra here. If we want to create a image prompt, we can, but that's kind of optional. So what we further tell it is that this analysis report will go into more detail. Now, this syntax here simply says the previous node, which is the settings node, there is a field called company, and we access it through the JSON variable that represents the previous node. And so this, in this our case, would be NVIDIA. So we can read this as the analysis report will be a comprehensive analysis of NVIDIA with the latest 10K filing. And then these are some details that we want to include. And so that's the task detail. Now we're going to give it some further instructions, okay? So all information is sourced from NVIDIA. So this is the variable from my settings node. And it's going to be using the SEC 10K filing and this analysis unbiased and factual. So what this line tells it is actually if there is a tool that is related to SEC 10K, it will actually use this line to trigger calling that tool. So this is actually a pretty important line. I've also included in here a Wikipedia tool as well, in case the information that it needs is not in the SEC 10K. And then so the next set is important because it tells it to how the output should be structured. So we're going to create what's called a JSON object. So this JSON is essentially a data structure that is of a certain form. So we're going to add into this form a title, ask it to also put into it a subtitle, an introduction, and we're going to give it some guidance on how long the introduction should be, how long the conclusion should be. And then now here's some really important parts to show how the senior planner is actually going to give and plan the information or plan the work for the rest of the research team. So what we're going to tell it here is a key part here. Sorry. So first of all, there's going to be X amount of sections, right? So that's also coming from the settings. Now, for each section, provide a title and an exhaustive prompt that your teammates and researchers can follow that will be used to write the section text. So it's actually this part that will then generate a series of prompts. Each prompt will represent instructions for the respective agent, right? So then we place the sections in an array called sections, and then for each of the sections, we're going to have title and prompt. All right. So this part actually is the planning part. And so let me just, the rest are a bit of repeat just to give the model emphasis on certain terms. But this is the crux of it, right? So let me just run it, but I'll hook it up to the tools first. So I'm using a model here of 4. So GPT-4, because there's more logic in here, we want to use a stronger model. So it costs slightly more, but it's a stronger model. So we're going to use that. And then that's it. So we have that. And then the tools, we're going to add in tool support by hooking this up to, first of all, the Wikipedia. So I'll hook it up to Wikipedia. That's a tool to use for that. And then I'm going to hook it up to the SEC 10K tool. So I'm going to go and do that and add a custom tool. So I'm going to go here, and then I'm going to create a custom tool. All right, so in this tool, I'm going to fill in the name of the tool. So I'm just going to call it SEC 10K. All right, so 10K tool. And I'm going to give it some instructions on when it is appropriate to use this tool. So I'm going to put here, use this tool to answer fundamental questions about, and then this is JSON company. So this is referring to the settings node. And so whenever I need to answer questions about SEC 10K, and this tool will be, the input to this tool should be the question to be asked about NVIDIA. For example, what does NVIDIA do to earn money? Okay, so this is the condition. This is how the tool will be used. And then now I'm going to put some JavaScript in here, and I will explain that. But first, I'm going to take the information that I got from the Q&A flow. Okay, so remember I wanted to get this URL, so I'll copy this URL. And then now I'm going to put into this code here all the information that I need to execute this tool. All right, so I will copy this. Okay, so let me explain this code a little bit. So I'm going into the settings node, and I'm going to take the webhook URL data, right? So what I just copied from the previous workflow, and I'll take that, and then I'm going to call it with a post, meaning that I'm going to call this URL with the information on the question to ask and the company I'm asking it for. I'm going to then execute the HTTP request and then get the result. All right. So let me just go into the settings here, and I will copy again the setting here. All right. All right. So it's done. So let's save it. All right. I'm just going to then go back to my Q&A flow and activate it. All right. So it's active. So it's in the production mode is active. So good. And then I'm going to go back here, and I'll just make one more change here. So I want to, previously this was off, I'm going to turn this on. So I want to output the content as JSON. So this allows me to more accurately go to the next step. So I'll turn that on, and I'll execute this. So as this executes, what we'll see is the senior research analyst persona will be calling into the custom tool node. So this node is calling into this node here. And if you look at the executions here, what you'll see are the details. So it's calling the webhook, And if you look at the questions, what are the top 3 risk factors? This is returning that result. And there's other questions in here that the executions have completed. So you have more questions here about, what are the near-term growth catalysts, and then more answers here. And then the senior research analyst is taking in all that information. And then you can see here what's happening. So it's outputted JSON, right? So this is, the title, subtitle, introduction, and then the section. So this is an array. So each of the sections is going to be used by the respective research analysts. So one research analyst will be exploring this, right? How NVIDIA generates revenue through this. And then the next research analyst will look at the company strategy, and this is a prompt that helps seeds that. The third analyst will be looking at the SWOT analysis, strength, weakness, opportunity, threat. And then the fourth one will be looking at this, and the fifth one will be looking at this, and etc. Okay, so that's how the senior research analyst plans for the work of the others.